I'm going to talk a bit about how early interactions between parents and their children influence brain development, because it's fascinating to me anyway, and I hadn't realised quite how important we are on the child's developing brain. So within the first few years of life, the brain develops dramatically. Actually, the first 5 years are thought to be a critical period in brain development. Some interesting facts: at birth, the average baby's brain is a quarter of the size of an average adult's brain. It doubles in size in the first year, and by the age of 3, it's 90% grown. Although this doesn't mean we're 90% formed, the connections within the brain are not fully developed until the age of 25. And there's another period of growth and restructuring in the brain during adolescence. So our brain develops from the bottom to the top. Babies are born relying on that lower part of the brain. This houses their survival system. And it means they don't have the tools to make sense of the environment in a rational and logical way. I mean, think about an infant. Have you ever seen a rational and logical baby? They just don't exist. So they can only show basic responses like crying to express their discomfort and thereby get their needs by others, not by themselves. They cry and we tend to them. So children then start to develop from this bottom part of the brain to the higher parts of the brain, which is responsible for making sense of the world. This is our rational, coping, understanding part of the brain. This is our all over the place, survival, help me. And this can take some time. So we know that 2-year-olds, although they have double the number of connections that adults' brain have, these only develop depending on experience. So the pathways, the networks within the brain are strengthened according to experience. Those that fire together, wire together is a lovely phrase. Or they are pruned. If we don't use them, we lose them. And this is called neuroplasticity, where neuropathways are formed and reformed, giving us the ability to adapt or change over time. And the brain is the most malleable, the most plastic, the most adaptable to change in those first 5 years of life. But what's fascinating from my perspective as a psychologist is how our response as parents shape children's brain development. So it's consistent and responsive parenting, not all the time, you can't get it right all the time, but as much of this as we can do, help children develop more healthy connections to those higher thinking, reasoning parts of the brain. So how we parent actually shapes our children's brain architecture, providing the foundation for future learning, behaviour and health. It's fascinating.